Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Journey. Dear mindful listeners, you see, when we live in this world, there are worldly conditions that we have to experience in this world. The Buddha named these worldly conditions as the 8 worldly conditions. The Buddha explains that the whole world revolves around 8 worldly conditions. So what are these 8 worldly conditions? First, there is gain and loss. Sometimes we'd feel like we were winning everything, and other times it feels like we were losing it all. Then there is praise and blame. People would sometimes say nice things about us, and other times they'd say mean things. Next up is fame and disgrace. Every now and then, we'd be really popular, but other times we'd feel embarrassed and ignored. And finally, there is pleasure and pain. We'd have moments of pure happiness, but then we'd also have times when we felt really hurt. But here's the thing. It wasn't just dealing with these big emotions that was hard. It was how much they messed with our heads. When good things happened, we'd get so attached to them, thinking they'd last forever. And when bad stuff came our way, we'd feel like it was never going to end. But the Buddha showed us a way out of this mess. He taught us to see that these 8 worldly conditions were temporary, like passing clouds in the sky. So instead of holding on too tight, we could learn to let go. By understanding that nothing lasts forever, we could find a kind of freedom, a freedom from always being pulled around by gain and loss, praise and blame, fame and disgrace, pleasure and pain. And in that freedom, we could find a deeper sense of peace and happiness, no matter what life threw our way. Dear mindful listeners, I'm going to share a quick story about a king and his sword to help you practice letting go. Remember this story whenever you face life's ups and downs. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled amidst rolling hills and lush forests, there ruled a wise and powerful king. This king, though revered by his subjects and feared by his enemies, bore a burden that weighed heavily upon his heart. You see, whenever he tasted victory on the battlefield, his spirit soared to celestial heights, but when faced with defeat, his soul plummeted to the darkest depths of despair. This emotional roller coaster left the king feeling unsettled and restless, for he longed for a sense of inner peace that seemed forever beyond his grasp. Determined to find a solution to his inner turmoil, the king sought counsel from his most trusted advisor, a sage and mentor renowned for his wisdom and insight. The mentor, upon hearing of the king's struggles, pondered deeply upon the matter. He understood that the king's happiness and sorrow were tied inexorably to the fleeting nature of triumph and loss. After much contemplation, the mentor devised a plan to help the king find solace in the ebb and flow of life's fortunes. One crisp autumn morning, as the golden rays of the sun danced upon the palace walls, the mentor approached the king with a gleaming sword in hand. Etched upon its blade were 4 simple words: "This too shall pass." Intrigued by the cryptic message, the king turned to his mentor for an explanation. With a gentle smile, the sage began to unravel the profound wisdom behind those seemingly humble words. "Your Majesty," the mentor began, "life is but a tapestry woven from the threads of joy and sorrow, victory and defeat. Just as the seasons change and the tides ebb and flow, so does our fortunes rise and fall. But remember, nothing in this world is permanent. The joy of victory, like the bloom of a flower, will fade with time, and the sting of defeat, like the passing storm, will eventually give way to clearer skies." The king listened intently to his mentor's words, a glimmer of understanding dawning in his eyes. For the first time in many moons, he felt a sense of calm wash over him, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his weary shoulders. From that day forth, whenever the king found himself basking in the glow of victory or wallowing in the depths of defeat, he would trace his fingers along the words engraved upon his sword. This too shall pass. And with each passing day, he grew wiser and more resilient, learning to embrace the ever-changing tapestry of life with grace and humility. Dear mindful listeners, let us heed the timeless wisdom of the sage and the king, and remember that in the grand tapestry of life, both joy and sorrow are but fleeting moments in time. Embrace them with an open heart, for in the end, all things shall pass. Dear mindful listeners, I hope you've taken something meaningful from today's video. Let's journey through life's ups and downs, growing and learning together. Please support our channel by subscribing and spreading the word. Thank you for watching.